right, so let's begin the show, and we'll be beginning with the ITR last minute filing guidelines to you. And we still have a couple of hours left, so let's get you on track for that. I have with me Sujit Bangar, founder TaxBuddy.com, and we also have our financial planner Nisreen Mamaji, who will be guiding us on this ITR filing and will be later on answering your portfolio queries as well. So Sujit and Nisreen, good evening and welcome to the show. And Sujit, let me just begin with you because it could be a very heavy day for you as well. I don't think we've heard any news on any site crashing or the filings not going without any glitch or without any issues in terms of technicalities. Is that the case? So far so good. Can we say that?
Yeah, absolutely. So far, so good, we can say,
Okay.
and that's very nice of CBDT and Income Tax Department. Obviously, on 29th and on 30th July, there were some glitches. There were many issues which have been reported in social media. You also might have seen it. Some challan updation and some portal was slow and data was not being fetched. AI prefill and AIs were not matching. There was issues in AIs downloading. The null file was getting downloaded without data. So many things were there. But lately, from yesterday night, things have been sorted out. And fortunately, today it's working finely.
All right, Sujit, now let's talk about last minute filing and the kind of mistakes or common mistakes, if I can say, people usually do when they are doing their ITR filing. And since we have a few hours left now, just in case you are unable to file it today, what is the kind of repercussion that you might have to face in terms of penalties or fine?
Today is the due date. Today is not the last date of filing. So there is difference. So today is the due date for filing. It is not the last date of filing. So even if somebody misses today for filing income tax return, one can file till 31st December. But obviously there are consequences and repercussions, and those are very severe. So first and foremost is a penalty. If you miss out on filing today, you have to pay 5,000 rupees penalty. So that is the clear cut penalty which you have to pay. Moreover to that, whenever we miss on income tax return filing, see most of the time the reason is one of the along with other reasons, one of the common reason is deferring tax payment. So if I have some tax liability coming 3 lakh, 4 lakh, suppose of tax, what somebody may think why to file today. I will manage my finances in some way and I will file after 7 days, 8 days, 1 month, 2 months, right? And in that case, the interest burden will start. Let all be clear that from midnight today, if you have not paid your taxes and you have not filed your income tax return, the meter will start running 1% per month of the penal interest. And that is very heavy. And that's why that is one of the major consequences. Another major consequence is that if we miss on filing today, we miss out on taking benefit of the loss carried forward for the next year. Suppose if I have 12 lakh rupees of loss which I am carrying forward for the next year, if I don't file today, if I file tomorrow, then consequence is that 12 lakh loss I cannot carry forward. And that 12 lakh loss today may be notional, but tomorrow in next year, my taxable income worth 12 lakh can set up against this loss. So there is practically, if I'm in highest tax bracket, almost 4 lakh tax can be saved by way of this loss carrying forward in this example. So not able to carry forward loss is one of the major consequence if we don't file it today. Another major consequence is that if we don't file on due date, it creates our history which is not so good. We look forward to have good civil score. So in a filing record also we need to have a good record of filing before the due date. So these are the major consequences we can say can be there if not filed today and can be filed after from 1st of August onward.
All right, so let's also bring in Nisreen in this conversation. And Nisreen, we're talking about last minute mistakes that usually people do when they are filing their return. And today being the due date, we still have a couple of hours left. All right, so according to you, what are the common mistakes, Nisreen, that people usually commit?
basically, people also plan everything very late. And today I've been having umpteen calls for, figures and calculations, and even the servers are completely, overbooked. So I think that's one of the reasons that everything is running very slow. So people should typically plan 1 year in advance for the entire tax planning season. So I always tell people, even for equity linked savings schemes, to take an SIP right from April, so that in the end, you're not time bound with, and also you have the requisite, funds, because suddenly you may not even have the requisite amounts that you need even for a Section 80C benefits. So your Section 80C, 80D completed throughout the year, and also for filing, please ask for your documentation much in advance. As a rule, we send it out on April 1st, but people normally miss out these mails, so they again ask us. So everything should be a little time bound, so that all the requisite people, all your advisors, your chartered accountants, even the portal itself is able to manage the rush at the last minute.
I think this also gives me a show idea. Now, after today, the next episode should be how to be prepared for it a year in advance. Actually, it's very important for this is one aspect which I think by default everyone just forgets, just like their the deadline of 31st March. But then, Sujit, I think you've got more on your list in terms of common mistakes committed by taxpayers while filing their returns.
Yeah, surely. And what happens whenever the last date, the 31st or 30th July comes, then you can the mistakes gets piled up from the user. And as just rightly said by her, that most of the times mistake happens when you don't plan things in advance. Now, just to enlist the things which mistakes which one can do is that the first and foremost mistake is a tax payment, which we see most of the times it is happening. You don't select challan correctly. You don't mention the assessment year correctly. The tax which we are paying today is a self-assessment tax. It is not advance tax. So this also differentiation one has to understand while paying challan. So paying challan properly, paying tax properly for the correct assessment year, entering correct data is very important. Till yesterday, we were finding some instances where user were getting some error in payment, and because of that, if somebody has done double payment, then see, if for example, if 25,000 is my tax and I don't get proper response after paying the amount in the challan because of some systematic error or something, and I end up paying in another instance, then practically 25,000 has been debited twice. So my payment has gone to the department 50,000 instead of 25,000. Now, once we pay to the income tax, it doesn't come easily because it has to process has to be followed. So one has to be very cautious while making payments, making tax payment. Another major mistake which we found while filing income tax return is that what happens when we are in hurry, then proper if suppose my employer has done my TDS as per new tax regime, so my form 16 will come as per new tax regime, and if I run the calculation method to determine which tax regime is beneficial to me, then obviously the system will say new tax regime is beneficial because no old tax regime related data is not available there. Now, in that case, in the hurry, I may go for no new tax regime and I will miss out on major tax saving sometimes. So, what has to be done? Tax regime has to be selected very consciously. And first thing, you just write down your deductions and all the payments which you have done, and then run the old tax regime in the calculation and see how much is the tax payable or saving. And then you run the new tax regime, what is the tax saving, and then you select the regime. So this is one mistake which may cost to our pocket heavily. Another major mistake is, and that is having severe consequences, is the wrong selection of the ITR. And most of the times it happens in a freelancer. What happens nowadays in a gig economy and in a freelancing culture is propelled. So if I'm a software engineer working somewhere and at the same time I'm doing some assignments in the weekends, so my even if I'm having a major income as a salary, I'm having freelancing income, professional income. My ITR will go as ITR 4 in that case or ITR 3. It won't be ITR 1. So if most of the times we have seen that in the hurry, people club professional receipts as also salaried income, and they file ITR 1, and later on they get defective notice because still there is 194J. Professional receipts TDS has already been done. So income, and against that TDS for professional receipt, income has not been shown because wrongly it is covered into salary. So in that case, even if he has shown all income, his return of income has been selected wrongly, and there is professional receipt which is not, ITR 1 should not have been filed. So he will get a notice going on. So this is one of the major mistake which happens while the filing income. And last point which I will I want to share is that whenever we are reporting losses, the speculative and non-speculative, this differentiation has to be done properly. And we have seen that in many cases, because of wrong mentioning of the loss, nature of loss, you will end up in sacrificing the total loss. So if it is a speculative, mention loss as a speculative business loss. If it is a F&O and regular trading loss, you mention as a regular business loss. So these are we can say there are n number of mistakes, but these are the broadly, we can say the common and major mistakes can happen in the last time ITR filing.
So all this should be counted in, factored in, so that you don't get levied by 5,000 rupees fine, and also you won't be able to carry forward any of your losses to your next financial year. So some serious and major repercussions. Thank you so much, Sujit, for taking time out and helping our viewers as to how to go about this, considering there are a few hours left for the deadline.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.